Drawing an Arizona Desert Bighorn sheep tag is truly a once-in-a-lifetime event. First of all, they are extremely hard to draw, and most people actually in their lifetime will never get one. In this case, we had a gentleman who had actually drawn a tag but was unable to utilize it, so he donated it to the Arizona Elk Society and their Hunt for Heroes program. And we had the opportunity to go out with that veteran, Joe Masseur, on his truly once-in-a-lifetime sheep hunt.
Day 2, another beautiful morning. Had an awesome day yesterday. Saw a couple ewes. Now we're just gonna find their boyfriend, the ram. Put this hunt in the books.
The success of our program rests on the shoulders of our many volunteers who go ahead and get out in the field with us, setting up camp, chopping wood, cooking, guiding, get the vet to the animals, field dressing the animals, getting them back to camp.
We have roughly 20 volunteers that are out in the field, and despite any limitations or terrain, we're going to make this hunt happen for this veteran. As you can see, the area is unforgiving out here.
Getting around wasn't exactly easy. There was no point A to point B, nice easy walk. Everything was a lot steeper than it looked. It was tough. Uphill or downhill, that's all there was.
With all these places to look at, what you have to do is you have to divide and conquer. In other words, people need to go into different areas and do some serious glassing to try and locate a ram. And this was the case with our volunteers. They were each given an area to go look at, and then they went out on their own and tried to find bighorn sheep out here in these rugged mountains.
Glassing is key to this. You have to glass. If you were to try and hike all these places to search for them, you'd never make it.
So we put people in various places to look for these sheep. Game and Fish had only seen one ram from the air on their aerial survey, so we knew we had our work cut out for us.
You need quality glass, like the Vortex here. You can sit behind it for hours, and the glass is so clear you can pick out sheep from rock relatively easily, and you can spend hours behind it without getting the eye fatigue.
On the evening of day 3, 2 of our volunteers actually spotted a group of sheep, including one ram. We were excited. This is the first ram we had seen, and we wondered, was this the sheep that Game and Fish had seen on their surveys? So it warranted a much closer look. So Joe and some of the volunteers made a move on this little group of sheep and got within 200 yards where Joe was set up, solid, and ready to pull the trigger.
So I think I've decided that I'm gonna hold off for now and see how the day develops and something else comes up. If not, I think we're gonna have a pretty good chance of coming back here and finding them.
After looking at him and talking to some of the volunteers, he decided this ram was not old enough to take and that he was willing to roll the dice and try for a bigger one.
Just trying to find these boogers is a tough gig. It really is. So what we're doing today is we're glassing for a group that we had seen yesterday. And we're hoping to find them, but heck, just being out here is amazing.
On the morning of day 6, there were just 3 of us on the mountain, Joe, myself, and Mike Halsey. We climbed up to a water tank to get some better looks at the country around. Mike Halsey actually went up on the top of a peak while Joe and I sat down. While we were sitting there, a most remarkable thing happened. I heard a sheep cough. Joe looked at me and said,
Did you hear that? What was that?
and I said, that's a sheep coughing.
There's a sheep in that saddle right there. Don, that's a ram. He is way bigger than the one the other day.
660 yards away, and there stood this magnificent ram. I looked at him through the binoculars, and it took me all of maybe 2 seconds to say to Joe, this is your ram. And now, despite being behind the 8 ball for 6 days, the hunt was on. We were able to maneuver to within 300 yards And with Joe laying in rocks, we watched the ram, which had now bedded down. After 20 minutes, the ram stood up. Joe shot. We could hear the shot echo off the mountain, and we could also hear the distinctive thump that told us that he had hit that ram. Joe fired a second shot. The ram took 2 steps and was down.
We're gonna call this hike Revenge of the Ram. He's getting his revenge. He is. Whew. All right.
His hunt was over, and he had a ram of a lifetime.
The Arizona Elk Society's Hunts for Heroes program is fantastic, and it's equally amazing are the volunteers, and I want to say thank you to each and every one of you.